Thank you for visiting my channel. Before we start, please hit the subscribe, like, and share buttons to receive notification of future presentations. Our topic for discussion is natural obligations under Articles 1423 to 1430 of the new Civil Code. A natural obligation is a duty that arises from equity, moral considerations, or natural law, but it cannot be legally enforced in court. However, once voluntarily fulfilled, the obligor cannot recover what has been given or performed. Natural obligations bridge the gap between strict legality and moral fairness. While they do not create legal rights, they validate voluntary moral actions. They protect persons who act in good faith and fulfill their moral duties, preventing unjust enrichment. Sources of natural obligations are 1. Invalid or null contracts. Certain contracts, though void for lack of essential requisites, may create a natural obligation, especially if one party voluntarily performs under the contract. 2. Voidable contracts. If a contract is annulled due to incapacity or defect of consent, the fulfilling party may not claim restitution. 3. Legal obligations exceeding the prescriptive period. If a civil obligation is barred by the statute of limitations, it becomes a natural obligation. Thus, performance cannot be judicially demanded, but if fulfilled, remains valid. And 4. Reimbursement in favor of incapacitated persons. Payments made on behalf of persons who are unable to make contracts due to legal incapacity are treated as natural obligations, and reimbursement cannot be demanded if voluntarily paid. The characteristics of natural obligations are 1. No legal compulsion. They lack enforceability in court as they are moral or ethical duties rather than legal ones. 2. Voluntary fulfillment. If a person performs a natural obligation voluntarily, the payment or act becomes irrevocable. 3. Binding conscience. These obligations are grounded in equity and fairness, creating a moral duty rather than a legal one. And 4. No demandable right. The creditor or obligee has no legal right to compel performance, but benefits if the obligation is fulfilled. Article 1423. Obligations are civil or natural. Civil obligations give a right of action to compel their performance. Natural obligations, not being based on positive law but on equity and natural law, do not grant a right of action to enforce their performance, but after voluntary fulfillment by the obligor, they authorize the retention of what has been delivered or rendered by reason thereof. Some natural obligations are set forth in the following articles. Article 1424. When a right to sue upon a civil obligation has lapsed by extinctive prescription, the obligor who voluntarily performs the contract cannot recover what he has delivered or the value of the service he has rendered. This means that if a person pays a debt that has already prescribed or expired due to the statute of limitations, he cannot recover the payment. Hence, even if a debt is legally extinguished by the prescriptive period, the debtor can still fulfill it voluntarily, creating a binding performance. For example, Juan owed Pedro 500,000, but the debt prescribed after 10 years. Despite this, Juan still paid Pedro the full amount. Later, Juan regretted his decision and demanded a refund. Since Juan voluntarily paid the debt despite its prescription, he cannot demand a refund. If Pedro asks for a notarized acknowledgment of full payment, the notary public may proceed with notarization as the payment was made voluntarily. However, the notary should not include any enforceable obligation clause since Pedro has no right to demand the payment legally. In sum, if a debt has been extinguished by the prescriptive period, you can still voluntarily pay it, but you cannot ask for the money back. Article 1425. When without the knowledge or against the will of the debtor, a third person pays a debt which the obligor is not legally bound to pay because the action thereon has prescribed, but the debtor later voluntarily reimburses the third person, the obligor cannot recover what he has paid. This means that if a third party pays someone's debt believing he was obliged to do so, he cannot demand reimbursement. Article 1426. When a minor between 18 and 21 years of age who has entered into a contract without the consent of the parent or guardian after the annulment of the contract voluntarily returns the whole thing or price received, notwithstanding the fact that he has not been benefited thereby, there is no right to demand the thing or price thus returned. Relate this to Article 1399, which says, when the defect of the contract consists in the incapacity of one of the parties, the incapacitated person is not obliged to make any restitution except in so far as he has been benefited by the thing or price received by him. This means that if a minor without legal obligation voluntarily fulfills an agreement after reaching the age of majority, he cannot demand restitution. Article 1427. When a minor between 18 and 21 years of age who has entered into a contract without the consent of the parent or guardian voluntarily pays a sum of money or delivers a fungible thing in fulfillment of the obligation, there shall be no right to recover the same from the obligee who has spent or consumed it in good faith. For example, Anton, 17 years old, borrowed money from Mario, also 17 years old. Since minors cannot enter into a binding loan contract, the agreement was void. Upon reaching the age of 18, however, Anton voluntarily repaid Mario in full. Later, he asked for his money back, arguing that the contract was void. Since Anton paid voluntarily after reaching the age of majority, he cannot recover the payment. This is based on Article 1426 and 1427. Hence, if a person lacking full legal capacity makes a payment, it is treated as a natural obligation if voluntarily performed, and the amount cannot be reclaimed. Article 1428. When, after an action to enforce a civil obligation has failed, the defendant voluntarily performs the obligation, he cannot demand the return of what he has delivered or the payment of the value of the service he has rendered. This means that if a person executes a contract that is void due to a legal defect, but later voluntarily fulfills it, the law will not allow him to recover. Therefore, payments made under contracts that are deemed void, like gambling debts, cannot be legally enforced, but they cannot be reclaimed if voluntarily performed. Article 1429. When a testate or intestate heir voluntarily pays a debt of the decedent, exceeding the value of the property which he received by will or by the law of intestacy from the estate of the deceased, the payment is valid and cannot be rescinded by the payer. Relate this to Article 1311, which says in part, the heir is not liable beyond the value of the property he received from the decedent. Article 1430. When a will is declared void because it has not been executed in accordance with the formalities required by law, but one of the intestate heirs, after the settlement of the debts of the deceased, pays a legacy in compliance with a clause in the defective will, the payment is effective and irrevocable. In Philippine civil law, the distinction between civil and natural obligations reflects a balance between enforceable legal duties and equitable moral obligations. Civil obligations grant creditors enforceable rights, while natural obligations rest on moral grounds and bind only upon voluntary performance. This distinction underscores the dual nature of obligations in the Philippine legal system, one that is enforceable by law and another that, while not enforceable, is recognized and respected due to its ethical foundation. Thank you. If you find this presentation helpful, please subscribe to receive notification of future lectures.